In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to annotate an online text using the tool Hypothesis, and then how to make that annotation public and then share it with another reader. So to start with, I'm looking at this text. The New York Times Sunday edition had this op-ed called How to Fix the Country's Failing Schools and How Not to. Now, I saw this show up in my Twitter feed several times and was meaning to read it. So I sat down to read it this morning, and now I've encountered some part of the text that I want to share with a colleague who had tweeted about this. So the first thing to point out is that Hypothesis, the way I use it is it's a Chrome extension. So it's an extension for my Chrome browser. So if I come up here, you can see that I've got it. I've got the Hypothesis extension here, but it's off. So I click it. Now it's on. So if I zoom back out, you can see that I've got this sidebar going on now. So that means Hypothesis is on. And so zooming back out, let's just show how I would add an annotation. So let's go ahead and say I wanted to talk about the second paragraph. What I would do is just click and drag. Now I've highlighted the second paragraph, and I want to make a note. So I click on New Note. What it does is it brings up a window that has the text that I highlighted, and then this little editor down here that's going to allow me to annotate this second paragraph with some hypertext. So what I did, I'm going to skip over exactly the nuts and bolts of how I filled in this box, because I think that's relatively self-explanatory. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cancel that note actually. So let's just come down here. First zoom out. I'm going to cancel that note. But then let's look at one that I actually made here. So down below I highlighted a different paragraph, and so here's the annotation I created. What I did was I added an image using the image icon. I pasted a link to an image, and I wrote a paragraph. And then I tagged it. In this case, APS moves the boxes, because that's a hashtag that my school district uses for public conversation about equity. And finally, I had a choice to either post publicly or only to myself. So I went ahead and posted this publicly. And once I do so, now my annotation is up, right? And so this is sort of a completed annotation. Here's the paragraph that I highlighted again. Here's an image that I submitted using that editor. And then here's the paragraph that I typed, to share. So what's important now is that I have this option to grab a link. So the link won't lead to the text itself. It won't lead to the New York Times article. It will lead to just my annotation. So when I click that, I can do a Command C to grab that link. And now, scrolling out, I can share that via Twitter. So I hope this kind of makes sense. It's meant to show how I can generate a conversation with another reader who's interested in the same text as me, and that reader might get on Hypothesis and respond to my comment, or they just know that I'm annotating this article. I think the final thing to point out is over here, before there were 0 annotations on this article, now there's 1. And so I can even see how much public discourse is on this article just by looking up here.